It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business on this President's Day, coming off a nice little Valentine's Day weekend. Now we're into President's Day, so hopefully got a lot of people out there listening to the show. I know we'll probably have some people taking the day off, and if that's yourself, I hope you all have a great day. If you're just catching me on the air for the first time, I'd like to remind you that my show is on weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and you can catch more about my show over my website, tampabayradio.com. Joined in studio today with guest co-host Marilyn Zayas, also of Coldwell Banker, as I myself am a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker as well. Marilyn, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Jamie. How are you? I'm great.
Very nice and very chipper attitude, very much. So this is her second appearance on this show, so she seems to have loosened up a little bit after the first appearance. So, and also I'll be talking with business consultant Ali Walter here in just a little bit. And also in studio with me today is John Gaston with Tampa Bay Multimedia, and you can catch the live stream. And also I'd highly recommend anybody out there go over to my live stream. You can catch it over at tampabayradio.com. I got two lovely ladies in the studio with me today, so take a quick peek at them and also catch more of the show live in studio. So, John, tell me a little bit, how was your weekend this weekend?
Oh, it was awesome. We, of course, Valentine's Day was kind of cool, but the the highlight for us was the fair.
State Fair.
State Fair,
Oh,
yes.
man. That's just one place I do not show up. I mean, it just has a reputation in my head. Coming out of West Virginia, the State Fair was like the conglomeration of all the hillbillies and rednecks, and there's always some big fights going on there. I don't know what it is down here, but what's it like in the Florida State Fair?
That's just about right. You got rednecks, the hillbillies. It's the ghettos there. It's just everybody's there. The rich, the famous. No, they're all there. The
rednecks and the hillbillies. Is there a difference between these two?
Absolutely.
I mean, what's the difference between the rednecks and the hillbillies?
Rednecks are they're a little more of a southern. It's a southern thing, and then the hillbillies are more of the actually your neck of the woods.
No, I know. I just want to get your take on
West
this.
Virginia.
Yeah, I know. Coming out of West Virginia, I get branded with both those titles a little bit. Although I've elevated myself, outside of that, country
there is
boy
a total language difference of how we speak.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Difference between the hillbillies and rednecks.
And I'm half hillbilly, half redneck.
Oh, that's nice that you own up to it and everything.
Well, hey,
so.
you got to be what you are, man.
I've distanced myself from that coming out of West Virginia. I've been here for 18 years now, so I consider myself a Floridian. I mean, I go back to West Virginia here and there, but I just don't seem to fit in there anymore for whatever reason.
Well, it's one of those things. I don't know. I kind of embraced it after a while because. We moved around. I was an Army brat, so it's like 2 years here, 2 years there, 2 years here, 2 years there. Mm-hmm. So I just figured, what? My true roots are I'm half redneck and half hillbilly.
Yeah, and I'm
not a cracker though.
Oh my!
Well, cracker is from Florida.
Okay.
If you're a true Floridian, that's a cracker.
Oh, I see that.
See, yeah.
I'm learning a lot here today.
My co-host Marilyn is from Puerto Rico, and so she knows nothing about hillbillies and rednecks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For me, that's a whole different thing. When I moved here, people were like with different, they all talking in English, of course, but everybody had their own accent going on.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting.
And interestingly enough, I used to have a lot stronger accent. I think it comes out a little bit when I'm on the radio.
I tell you what happens is when you get back around family, then your accent hits.
Right.
Because when I met my wife, I lived in Connecticut, it's where I went to college, is at University of New Haven. And up there, I have no accent.
Okay.
And the first trip that my wife ever took with me, we came down and we drove down. So the further south I got, the stronger my accent got.
Yeah. You were back home.
Yep. Got to fit in.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, my accent, I used to talk more like this right here. And honestly, I mean, this is growing up in West Virginia, this is how you had to talk. I mean, this was the accent I grew up with. But now it's transitioned into a more professional radio tone.
Well, you have to be neutral to do what you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, 50 Shades of Grey out this weekend. That any of you all catch that this weekend?
I did not. I heard a lot about it, though.
Yeah, it was... A little bit disappointing. I kind of expected to see more, to be honest with you. It was kind of like the movie I used to stay up as a teenager to turn on Cinemax for when my parents went to bed. I mean, that's really all this thing was. I'm still trying to figure out what the plot of the movie was, and it just kind of ends abruptly, and I don't know. It just kind of left me hanging there, and it was... I mean, I saw a lot of the men kind of complaining about it. I think some of the women, fell in love with it. Had a big opening weekend. One of the, I think it was a top opening weekend for Valentine's Day and President's Day weekend. And I think it's a trilogy. Marilyn, have you read the book?
I started reading the books, but honestly, I discovered what was going on, and I got freaked out, and I'm like, okay, this is not for me, maybe. So I stopped. Yeah. I honestly did.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, this was something more along the lines of just soft porn, something that really just belonged on Cinemax at about 1 a.m. Something, again, that, when my parents went to bed when I was 13 or 14, I'd sneak back downstairs and turn on Cinemax for, because that's really all it was. There really was no plot, and it kind of just ends abruptly, but I'm sure all the ladies out there that are listening to me are kind of screaming at the phone, oh, you got to read the book, got to read the books.
Well, you know what it is? They finally have come up with a movie for ladies, because us men have had all our actions. We've had, Bruce Willis movies and, Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies and Rocky and all that kind of stuff. And women are like, really?
Yeah.
Two guys that's in a ring beating each other up. Why is that good?
I love Rocky, by the way.
Okay, well, see,
oh my God, you just hit the point.
Yeah,
now we're going to talk about Rocky.
Yeah, see, so finally there's something out there for the ladies. I mean, they've had, they've had the, what's the vampires that glitter?
Vampires that glitter.
Oh, yeah. It was a whole book series, too.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Twilight. So,
Twilight series, yeah.
You see, Hollywood is starting to really start to push towards the women's market because, hey, they do control the purse strings in the house. So why not make movies they want to go see? And, if the husbands really want to stay on the good side of mama, well, what do? You go to the movies.
Exactly.
There you go.
Let me go ahead and welcome in our guest for the show. Allie Walter is a business advisor and profit strategist through her consulting firm, Allie Ann & Company. Allie helps small business owners master their productivity, profitability, and purpose. So, Allie, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
I gotta read your website carefully, as I was telling you. I want to say alien.com.
Yes.
So let's open up a little bit more about your history and your story, a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. I kind of came to do what I do by accident. I started out in high school. I was a part of DECA. Have you guys ever heard of DECA?
No. Explain DECA.
It's a business and marketing club, and so when I started to get into these competitions, you would go to these competitions and you were given a subject like team development or marketing or a business management challenge, and you were given this problem, and you had to go. You had 7 to 10 minutes to figure out a solution to the problem, and then you had to go in front of a room full of judges and pitch your solution to the problem. And I killed it for years and years. I got a lot of state and national awards, and I was like, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at under pressure finding solutions to solve business or marketing problems. So then I went on to USF, and I was like, I love the creative side of marketing. I'm going to go in it for advertising. I wasn't really focused on the business side of it at that time. And when I was in college at USF, go Bulls, I met a guy, and I'm a rescuer. So that was my first, I say, quote unquote, rescue. He was a tar baby, third generation asphalt family, and they were struggling immensely. And I'm like, I know marketing and branding. Let me try to fix this company. So I took it over. It was the end of 2006, beginning of 2007. And that was when my life just kind of happened. I over the next 5-6 years with that company, we increased revenues 1,225%, made it $1 million business, and it was wildly successful. And so that's kind of just transpired into a few different other business lines and other things that have made me find my purpose and what I want to do.
So you're a consultant for businesses, and so that was your first entry point into the business and entrepreneurial world. And you turned around. Give me the numbers again. What you were able to turn around within the company? That
business, 1,225% revenue increase in just about 5 years. So when I was leaving, it was closer to the 1,300, 1,350, I think. Probably, but that was the last time that I'd really looked at all the numbers, and I was like, "Wow, we did it!" I mean, we did big jobs, malls, Buccaneers corporate, Yeah, so it was one of those things that we took it from, just doing potholes and gas stations and barely making money to eat, let alone have.
So you would say you kind of just fell into the business at that point, right? The business found. This is
Yeah.
a situation where the business found you, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's so true to so many business owners and entrepreneurs. I mean, I never got into radio saying that I'm going to become a radio show. The radio found me because as a real estate professional, I was sought out from a real estate radio network, and they came to town and said, "Hey, you should go on the radio and talk about your real estate successes." So I was like, "All right, fine." So I did that for a year and a half, and I liked being behind the microphone, and I took the show 5 days a week just as of a few weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point that a lot of times business finds us. We don't always go looking for business. And I also, to the extent that practicing real estate, I never planned to ever practice real estate. I remember, what did you want to be when you were in school?
A lawyer.
You wanted to be a lawyer? Yeah. I was going to be a baseball player. So
wow.
None of us ever know what it is that we're going to be until, we get into our, 20s and sometimes even to our 30s and stuff. And that's a testament to, I always go back to saying that in school, a lot of us come out of school and we're not quite ready, for what it is that we're going to do. And society and our culture pushes us right into college and says, pick a degree and study it. And so many of us end up in other things. And the entrepreneurial mind, I always say to entrepreneurs, you really need to kind of get out and work in business and find where your fit is, because just as you found your fit accidentally, I found my fit accidentally as well. And I see that all the time, with business owners.
Yeah.
The business will find them sometimes.
But you have to be willing to listen too, and be open-minded. And then when you find something that moves you, and so I say find what makes you happy, like your happy place. And if it's accidental, but take the leap, take the risk, and move forward on it. You don't want to stay in that status quo and something that's not really fulfilling that that passion within you. So that's one of the biggest triggers that I find. A lot of people, they can't quite get over that hump because they're stable and they're happy, so to speak, in another role, and the other side is too scary for them to jump over to. And but our greatest happiness can be achieved when we actually take that plunge. So
that's a great point. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. We'll be back in a moment. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
From the Bright House Network's traffic center, still have problems on Big Bend Road. The ramp from westbound Big Bend Road to northbound I-75 remains closed because of emergency road work. Plus, we are still seeing heavy westbound delays approaching the interstate through here, and still seeing northbound delays on 275 from the east end of the Howard Franklin into Kennedy because of a crash that's off to the side. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udowick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
Nice and sunny for President's Day, high 72. Tonight, partly cloudy, much milder, low 60. Tuesday, partly sunny, 40% chance of rain, high around 70.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Learn more about my show over at TampaBayRadio.com, and you'll catch me here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. Got a great week of guests lined up this week. We're going to be talking with Meredith Rogers with At Last, all-natural products designed for pest control, things of that nature. She's going to be in tomorrow, along with Dylan Selberg, Marketing Director over at Advalence here in Tampa. And also later on this week, we're going to be talking with the co-founder of OneSpark, Elton Rivas. CoSpark is it's a state organization. I mean, it's a state competition for entrepreneurs, sort of like a Shark Tank, so to speak, where people go and pitch their ideas. And so that event's come up here very soon again. Also, we talk with brand strategist Sarah Asofte later on this week. And ghostwriter Karen Rowe, anybody interested in writing a book, definitely would want to hear that one. She's in on the 19th, and she is a specialist, again, in just writing your book. She does all the work, and you get all the glory. So stay tuned to that. You'd be surprised at how quickly you can get a book turned out. It's not as long of a process if you just sit down, record the stuff on a recorder, get it transcribed, and she gets it up and ready. I saw her had Shonda Fernando in last 2 weeks ago, author of Flying Low. She did his book in one day, and it's already out in on the market for sale. And Thursdays, 8:30, always hear from Jim Yeager, Remodeler's Corner. To learn more about Jim Yeager over at YeagerFlooring.com, a third-generation contracting business, and highly recommended here by That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. And on Friday, we'll be talking with coach and trainer and professional speaker Steve Gavatorta. I want to go back over to my co-host, the lovely Marilyn Zayez. She has recently joined my office at Coldwell Banker again. So tell me a little bit about this and what your role is going to be over there.
Well, as you said, I was there a few years ago, and I consider it my home. So I went back. I did a little different type of job where I was before, where I'm coming from. So I'm coming back to a different section of Coldwell Banker, which is the property management side. I kind of took a break a little bit just to know and explore more, what the field offers for us realtors. So coming out of that now, I'll be doing that in the Coldwell Banker office again. I'm real happy about that. I'll be working with Chippy Anderson. She's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to, just start helping tenants, owners that are probably, in need to place a good person out there in their homes.
So property management is going to be your specialty, but you're also available for listing and selling homes as well, correct?
I am. Yeah, I love my residential sales. They're always going to be around. A lot of my past clients are still referring their family members, friends, so I'm always grateful to receive those referrals as well, and any new client that comes along the way.
And you're a Latina as well, specializing in the Latino market as well too. So go ahead and give a plug for your people.
I am. Buenos días a todos mis radio oyentes hispanos. Voy a estar en Coldwell Banker. Por favor, llámenme si tienen alguna necesidad de comprar una propiedad.
All right, not too much Spanish. People are listening. All right, what the heck am I listening to now?
I'm sure people like to hear that it makes it different. So just wanted to say hi to everybody. So
very nice. I got Marilyn in here, also Stella Giudicelli, who joins me in studio also from time to time as a guest co-host. She's a French-speaking lady. So
yes, we love our Stella.
I've got the best of both worlds. I got a lovely Spanish lady and I got a lovely French lady, although I can't understand anything that Stella says when it comes to her talking French. She tried to get me to wish her mother happy birthday one day on the air, and she's like, just say this. I had no idea what she was saying. I kept trying to repeat it. At least when you tell me to say something in Spanish, I can reciprocate the words back to you. 12 years together as friends and in relationships, and 2 years of speaking Spanish in high school. I still cannot speak that language. My brain is just not programmed to understand abstract and artistic type of things. I'm a logical thinker, and language just does not record on my brain for whatever reason.
It's not easy. I mean, it's something that you have to practice every day. You got to prepare your ear for it too as well. So you try to do a good job.
Yeah. Let's go back over to our guest, Allie Walter, business consultant, and you're telling us about the success that you had with the asphalt company that you turned around, and you also have several other success stories as a consultant. You were working with a hairstylist recently, so tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, well, a few of the other successes in terms of, I guess you could say, the business turning them around, or the rescuer. People like to call me the business Band-Aid sometimes. Those are different. But we were talking about, finding your happy place, finding your purpose. And I wanted to kind of give this shameless plug to Brooke Curtis of the Hair Brewery in Wesley Chapel. I met her about a year and a half ago, and she sat with me, and it just, again, another one of those accidentals. And she was telling me about how she really wanted to open up, her own business. And she was already a hairstylist, but was struggling at the salon that she was at. And the more we started talking, she's like, I really want to do event planning, because I really have found that I love marketing and I love to do event planning. And I'm like, okay, but there's a complete disconnect here, because every single time she was talking about her clients and their hairstyling business, her eyes lit up. She was just so excited and just so passionate about that piece of her. And so I'm like, well, Brooke, let's talk about this event planning. Why? Well, because the overhead won't be as high, and I could manage, she has 3 little ones, I could manage the kids' schedule a little bit better. So to me, she was operating out of a fear decision. She was too scared to take the plunge out of something that she knew was really, really important to her and that would fill her happy place, because in her brain she was trying to go the logical step, right? She wasn't really willing to take that risk. And after meeting with me a couple times, she made the jump. And the Hair Brewery is a concept, a full-fledged hair salon concept that hopefully in the next couple of years she'll really open up a full-fledged salon with some investors. But I see her posts all the time. She talks to me all the time. She's like, Allie, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today if you hadn't pushed me to where I needed to go. So I love doing that, because to me, it's all about building the life you want. And it's backwards when, all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm going to live to retire at this age. And you wait for happiness, but you have to create the happiness now. And if you can create the happiness in doing something that pays the bills too and feeds your family, you've got the best of both worlds. So.
Absolutely. That's very important, because it's going to reflect on everything you do. If you that's your passion, you're going to give it the best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So part of what you do is also, you're a business consultant, but I would say you're also a lifestyle coach as well. I mean, you're encouraging people to get out and do what it is they want to do, would you not say?
Yeah, it's funny, because there's this title consultant, but then there's this title coach, but I'm right there in the middle, so I've almost deemed myself an advisor, because I've recognized, for example, I have one other client right now that's a husband and wife team, and they own 2 businesses, and I recognized early on that we needed to fix communication, we need to fix things within the relationship first, because they were in the businesses together, and the businesses were not going to be successful unless they were happy and successful together. So I almost had to step in and recognize, because that's where part of my background is communication training, but I had to step in and fix that first, and now they're really on their way with the businesses.
Very interesting. I know the challenge of dealing with a couple in a relationship and so on. And you're also a speaker as well. You speak for groups and stuff at events too, correct?
Yeah. It's funny, because the next couple months are kind of getting crazy, but I'm really excited and really honored. I'm going to be doing some events for Working Women of Tampa Bay. Jessica Ravelli is awesome. That's a fantastic networking group. If you lady entrepreneurs aren't part of it yet, go join that group. I'm also going to be doing a small business conference in March. Check out floridasmallbusinessforum.com and some other things you can check out on my website. So.
Hold that point. Got to take another quick break, but if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. Talk with Allie Walter, business consultant in studio today, and learn more about my show over at tampabayradio.com. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. With one phone call, you'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information. It's a free service, so call now.
Call now, 800-908-0586, 800-908-0586.
If your water leaves stains or smells or tastes bad, you want better water for your home, but where do you start? You normally start on the web, and you might be confused more than ever, but do what I did. Call 1-888-WATER-99. Talk to the Connecticut people at Superior Water. I mean, the internet is loaded with newcomers and even scammers, but my friends at Superior are rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau and have been here in the Bay Area since 1969. If you're sick of the expense and inconvenience of bottled water, they've got some great alternatives for you. Superior has more water treatment choices than anybody and a low price guarantee. And fantastic water is now more affordable than ever with 0% financing and their famous no obligation trial. So if you're tired of bad water, call 1-888-WATER-99. Whether you have city water or well water, Connecticut can make it great water. That's 1-888-WATER-99.
This is Evan Gold, host of Health, Wealth, and Wisdom, now heard at a new time on 1250 WHNZ. Join me along with my co-host Deb, weeknights from 7 to 9 as we discuss a number of interesting topics with top-notch guests. Everything from improving your love life to retaining your wealth. From the hottest authors to local bands and celebrities, we bring you all of the exciting things happening around Tampa Bay. And of course, your call-ins are always welcome. It's Evan and Deb in the evenings, now heard weeknights at 7 on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
This report is brought to you by iHeartMedia.
Looking for a way to increase your business? Ever thought about advertising on radio? iHeartMedia can customize a campaign to meet your specific needs. Call 844-BUY-RADIO. That's 844-BUY-RADIO. Or go to iHeartMedia.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, overall the interstates are in great shape. Just some minor delays southbound on 275 from I-4 to Howard, Armenia. Still looking good across the Howard-Franklin now, up to speed on 75 and I-4. And we still have emergency construction on Big Bend Road westbound at the ramp to northbound I-75. That ramp is currently blocked. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today's high temperature up to 78 degrees. Sunshine and clouds. Tonight's low 67 and then back up to 79 tomorrow. Isolated thunderstorms. Let's talk nutrition. Weekday mornings at 9 on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in yet again to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. You'll catch this show on weekdays here on 1250 WHNZ at 8 a.m. and also learn more about this show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Also, you can find me on all the social media sites, Facebook.com/That Business Show. Head over to that page, please, and hit me up with a like if you would. I greatly appreciate that. And also, you can find me over at Twitter, Jamie_Meloni. Again, Jamie_Meloni, and also over on LinkedIn. And also, you can catch the show now on iTunes. Got the podcast loaded up this week, so we're over there on iTunes now as well. That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where you'll find that. Also, got Marilyn Zayas in studio here again with me. I'll go back over to her. I wanted to talk a little bit more about, my story and stuff. We're talking a little bit earlier about, the real estate business and how I got into real estate. Interestingly enough, it was something that she had said to me, and this is going back to the point earlier where we say, business finds us. She and I worked together for 6 years at Mosaic, which was Cargill prior to that, which is down in Riverview. I was a lab analyst studying chemistry out of high school, led to that position. And, I was your typical, everyday working guy, came in, worked 12-hour rotating shifts. And one day she decided to get a real estate license. And I thought that was kind of, interesting. And I went back to school to get my degree in finance, and I was in a class, and one of my friends had said that, his wife was a real estate agent, and he had gotten a mortgage broker license. And so because she had a real estate license, I decided to get a mortgage broker license, and this was going back into 2005. And so I thought that was a good fit for the two of us because we were dating at the time. And although I never did anything at all within the mortgage business, it was just, the fact that she had gotten a real estate license and somebody making that chance comment to me. and saying that, oh, yeah, well, if your girlfriend or your wife is a real estate agent, you should be a mortgage broker. That way you two can reciprocate business. It made a lot of sense to me. And although I never ended up, getting into mortgages, and a year later I ended up getting a real estate license, and then she came and joined me over at Coldwell Banker. But, it's interesting, that business sometimes finds us from just, chance comments, chance events like that and stuff. So I was fortunate, she kind of, had a huge impact on the path that eventually led to me getting behind the microphone and being, successful in real estate. So thank you very much, Marilyn, for guiding me through some of the uncertainties in my life, as I'm sure I will still face many as well.
Yeah, it's important to just follow. Once you find something, again, you have to follow your dreams. What you like, what your passion is.
But let's go back over to business consultant Allie Walter. And we were talking earlier about the asphalt company that you were able to turn around. But in getting, we're touching a little bit on relationships and businesses. You said that you made a big mistake in the business with regard to not addressing the relationship issue that was going on inside that business. So tell us a little bit more about this.
It was a toxic relationship for 6 years, and I should have left, honestly, very early on, but I was so dedicated to the business, and I was so in it. I was also the financial backer. So at, 24, 25 years old, being thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't leave. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And towards the end of 2012, beginning in 2013, there was at that point nothing left to lose because I had already lost myself. But what I had realized is that I didn't pay attention to the business boundaries, so to speak, that I was so dependent on the relationship, not only feeding in my success of my life, but also I was too trusting. And so then when the relationship started to go bad, I tried to start building the exit plan and tried to put a contract in place to protect myself, to protect this, this monster of business that I had built. And he wasn't having it. When things are good, things are good. When they're not good, they're not good. And you can't really trust anybody as much as you think that they love you and they would never hurt you. And so I ended up walking away from this $1 million business with absolutely nothing. And so now that's one of the things, in coaching clients, not only to help fix communication lines to make sure, you're building this business together, but what's more important? Is the marriage, is the relationship more important? And do you need to hire to your weakness and hire somebody else to fill those shoes so that you can focus on that marriage or focus on the relationship first? Or are there just some things that we need to fix within the communication sphere that can allow you to have the relationship and the business together, and then we build out the boundaries from there? So you have a buy-sell agreement and your job descriptions and your roles, so you know who is doing what within the business, and there's no resentment that can start to build over time. So a lot of people make that mistake, way too many people.
So you were in the business 6 years, and you met your significant other in college, and you started working together. But so you helped him and the company build up, and then you ended up walking away from the company with nothing. Then as I understand it correctly. So that was, would you consider that a success in your life or a failure? Because I'm sure you learned a lot from that. So tell me a little bit about learning from mistakes and turning them into successes.
Well, if you ever heard of that concept, failing forward, it was absolutely a success, because had I not experienced, developing a business to that magnitude, I wouldn't be in the place that I'm at today. I wouldn't have found that I have this innate strength and talent to be able to fix things or find strengths to overcome weaknesses. But in terms of that failure aspect of the situation, of not having the contract in place and walking away and staying in a toxic relationship because I was too afraid to leave, I can take all that now and I can help other people realize when they're on the same path. I can help to coach them to not make those same mistakes. And it's just one of those, I guess you could say, the extra bullets in the loaded gun of just saying, I can really, I know now what I need to what I need to say and what I need to do to help people get out of the same slump, or to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes. So it's, failing forward. I wouldn't be in the place that I'm at today had I not experienced that.
Now, did you get forced out, or did you just walk away, or what? How did your exit go? And were you getting kind of forced out when you started to kind of put some structure in the place in the business between you and your significant other at the time?
It's funny because in a sense, psychologically, yes, but I wasn't forced out, because at the end of the day, I think he knew that he couldn't be half of what it was or he was without me. Which, I hate to say that, but it was true. And so he didn't push me out, but the toxicity and the emotional abuse of the relationship had just completely skyrocketed. And that's why I had to walk away, because I couldn't have that in my life anymore. I knew that I was going to fall back into the cycle. You talk about, victims of physical abuse. They go back into the cycle because they just get beat down and there's nothing left of them. And they feel like, that's still their safe place. And I could feel myself going back into that if I just didn't say, I'm done. I can't do this. I can't fight with you anymore, just to try to get back what I believe I've, what I'm owed and what I'm due. And everybody said, well, go see an attorney. There's sweat equity, and you could really fight this, and you have all the evidence, in your field. But to me, the energy and the negativity that was coming from that side, I knew that I wasn't going to achieve what I needed to achieve with my life if I allowed that to stay anywhere near me. So it was literally like pulling the plug and just going for it. And it was the best decision that I made. My life has been amazing ever since then. So.
And now in your consulting business, let's talk a little bit about what you've seen as far as the biggest mistakes business owners make. So give me your take on what you see with the people that you've been working with.
Well, the number one is not having agreements with the partners that whether you have an investor or somebody that's like a friend, and you're going, hey, let's start this business. This is going to be awesome. Not having agreements. That's the number one things that people fail at in the beginning. And then the number two thing is not hiring for your weaknesses, or not having a partner that's, I recently wrote an article, it was about overthinking actually, but it was where I referenced my concept of find the yings to your yang, or find the yin to your yang, because you really have to find the opposites within business that will help elevate you beyond your own plateau, beyond your own knowledge. We have this blissful incompetence that we all have, but we aren't expected to know everything. So we have to find people that can help us understand what we can't see within our business model that's maybe triggering weak sales, or that we're not hiring the right team members. And the other side to that is, if you don't have a partner, or if you don't have a team that you can build up yet, another mistake people make is not finding a mentor or a coach that can really help elevate them beyond, the levels that they're at. And a lot of it has to do with tunnel vision. We have like this self-sabotaging tunnel vision, because we get so focused on this goal, or just this, we're like, I'm going to hit this mark by this date. And recently, just a couple days ago, my boyfriend actually, he met with a really successful gentleman who owns some motocross shops. And he said, when you focus on it and you have to live by it, it doesn't work. When it has to work for you to feed your family, or you just have to make it work, it doesn't work. But when you go with the flow and you just have faith and you just allow the world to be opened up to you, that's when it works for you. So that's where I say, find a mentor or a coach that can help, open up your mind and open up the options and the solutions for you to help you get to, what you're building or where you want to go. And I guess all those are big ones to me, and I think there was 3 there. But one of the things I always say is, when you not knowing your numbers, businesses that don't know their numbers, there's so many people that don't actually know their revenue, that don't actually know their profit margins. And to me, when you know your numbers work for you. You can project sales. You can know your cash flow. You know when you're able to hire a new assistant to help you relieve, the overload of working 80 hours a week. When you know your numbers work for you. And why would you not want to know what was working or not working for your business? So
yeah, it amazes me how many business owners, do not take the time to set up the infrastructure of the business before going into the business. And one of the simplest things you can do is get QuickBooks, learn how to, run QuickBooks. There are 2-day seminars that are offered in the area all the time. I went into one several years ago, and I've pretty much self-taught myself the program. And it's a very intimidating program when you first look at it, especially if you don't have any type of background in finance and income statements, things of that nature. But it's really actually kind of simple after you understand the flow of funds, as I call it, through QuickBooks. And I actually have a YouTube video that people can type up. It's geared towards my business, which is, the bank-owned property sales and expense management, things of that nature. But you'll learn a lot. And I wrote a manual on this as well it's all about the flow of funds coming through QuickBooks. And if you think about it logically, it makes sense. And you can set up a QuickBooks file in as little as a couple of hours. And as long as you know how to make deposits, traditionally, you do the exact same things. You hit a few different buttons, and it produces easy to understand reports, invoice your clients, and send regular follow-ups and, messages to your clients. But it amazes me how many people are using such antiquated methods like some Excel spreadsheet or something that, does not produce, easily to recognize discernible results.
Or not doing it at all. I mean, some people, their brains physically just don't work that way. And that's when I say, you either hire a bookkeeper and an accountant to manage those numbers and work through, do your P&Ls and do your balance sheet with them once a quarter. Or the other side to that is your business strategist has to know that. One of my clients actually has their accounting degree, and she's absolutely brilliant at numbers. But there's a difference when you actually look at what the numbers mean to the business. You know what I mean? So you can document and you can track and you can understand the flows all day long, but actually understanding what you can do with those numbers after that. Sometimes it just takes a different type of brain, and that's where I say hire or surround yourself with your own weaknesses or outsource to your weaknesses. Because myself, I can do my QuickBooks all day long. Oh my gosh, but I'm a year behind in my books. Why? Because I absolutely cannot stand it. So now I've handed everything over to my accountant, and he's going to fix it all up for me, because I just recognize my time is better served at my highest value, which is going out and meeting people and helping people with their businesses, not doing my books. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
That's a very good point. Something that I struggle with in my business is trying to be the one who does everything.
Too many hats. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a very good point that you raised here. So hold that point. Got to take a quick break. But if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. We'll be back in a moment. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, overall the interstates are in great shape. Just some minor delays southbound on 275 from I-4 to Howard, Armenia. Still looking good across the Howard Franklin now, up to speed on 75 and I-4. And we still have emergency construction on Big Bend Road westbound at the ramp to northbound I-75. That ramp is currently blocked. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Nice and sunny for President's Day, high 72. Tonight, partly cloudy, much milder, low 60. Tuesday, partly sunny, 40% chance of rain, high around 70.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and thanks again for listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Learn more about my show over at TampaBayRadio.com, and you'll catch me here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. Currently talk with business consultant Allie Walter, and I want to go into the topic of burnout in business. I know we are talking a little bit about this off the air and everything, so tell me ways that business owners can protect themselves from burnout.
not wearing too many hats and recognizing when sometimes you have to put things, I call it like the reoccurring to-do list. The reoccurring to-do list is just not urgent, not priorities. And sometimes if it takes you a couple months to get to it, you just got to suck it up and just deal with it, because you have to recognize what it's. I don't know if you guys have heard of Timothy Ferriss with the 4-Hour Work Week. That's like my business Bible. I absolutely love that book.
4-Hour Work Week?
Yes, but he talks about in one of his podcasts too, the leading domino effect. You know, in a domino, you push one and all of them, right? They go in this line and they all knock down. Well, every single morning, wake up and ask yourself, what is the most important thing that I need to get done today? What is my lead domino effect? You know, that's if I need to go and pitch to 3 clients because by the end of this month I need to have, one more contract in place, that's my lead domino. It's not doing my QuickBooks. It's not working on my website. It's not screwing around on Facebook or LinkedIn. But beyond that, burnout really comes into play when it's not recognizing areas, and that's why people like me are in place, not recognizing areas where you can organize, streamline, you can make things more efficient, and also develop turnkey systems to where things just kind of work themselves out. There's franchises like McDonald's that are global entities for that very reason, because they've built these turnkey systems that allow people to just come in, do their job really quickly and efficiently, and be done with it. And a lot of businesses don't operate that way, and it can really lead to just a disarray of unorganization and too many people and too many types of job roles and just processes that don't work well together. And that can create, instead of, a 40-hour work week, a 70-hour work week. But one of the big things that I talk about to people is having rejuvenation time. Burnout a lot of times comes into play when you don't actually turn off. I literally have on my calendar where it's like a blue section, and that is, there's no house chores, there's no mowing the lawn, there's no bathing the dogs, there is, I'm sitting my butt in my PJs on the couch eating whatever I want to eat because I just need to unplug. And that to me has been one of the biggest things, that no matter what pending priorities I have on my plate for my business, I have to be able to feed my brain and feed my body back to be, if I'm going to be any good to anybody the following week or the next day. So stopping burnout is really recognizing when you have to, have more time for yourself and give that time back to your body and to your mind. So yeah, it's one of those things too that you don't really recognize it until you've hit rock bottom, so to speak, and you have no friends. You don't see your family anymore, and you're questioning like, oh my gosh, I'm building this life, but for what? What am I building this business for if I'm not going to have anything at the end of the day? And so that's where I say too, sometimes your priorities don't just have to do with business. Sometimes it's not your financials, and it's not accomplishing all the things on your to-do list. It's actually recognizing that there's a bigger picture, which is, personal time or family time. So
yeah, it's something Marilyn always tries to beat into me, because I don't disconnect from business, and I have to hear it from her all the time. And then she's involved in so many different things in my business, both on the real estate side and on the radio side as well. And so, I always try to talk with her and stuff, and I have to hear it from you all the time.
Yeah, especially last night, he tried to call, he wanted to talk about today's show, and I'm like, no, it's Sunday. I don't want to hear it. I absolutely have to remind him that, we don't work to live.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just keeping that in mind. I think that it helps you, just be successful, like you're saying.
It's working to live or living to work. Like they both kind of mean the same thing to me. Mm-hmm. And just like when you said, no, I have to remind him, that is the epitome of not only being successful in business, but also not having burnout, when you can set those boundaries and instill them into the relationships, whether it's your business partners, your referral partners, or family members even, of, hey, I'm sorry, but I can't talk during my 8-hour workday. Unless it's an emergency, just don't feel bad that whenever you call, I never answer during this time, because that's my productivity time. That's my,
right.
Go to the wall kind of time. Right. Versus, I notice the same thing. I'm like, this man's an animal. Or does he work, maybe Wednesday through Sunday? Because I'm noticing all these posts last night from Jamie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and these emails coming over, and I'm like, okay, I got to prepare for tomorrow morning, but I'm tired. Like, this is my unplug time. But you got to set up those boundaries, or else business gets a hold of you, and that's what a lot of new entrepreneurs don't recognize, that your passion and your drive and what you're building sometimes just gets a hold of you, and unless you put things in place to stop it and recognize that bigger picture, you'll just keep going and years will, be gone, and you won't really recognize yourself after a while. So
I always tell people, they'll ask me what my hobbies are, and I always say my hobby is building business.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's my hobby. I don't know. I enjoy, figuring out all these things. Like last week, my big project was trying to figure out how to get this show up on iTunes, which is not easy, by the way. When you host your own files, a lot of people are probably, oh yeah, it's really easy. It's really easy when you upload to a third-party site and everything. But no, I host all my own files, so had to learn how to get podcast generator up onto my web server and everything. So I enjoy that type of stuff. Fortunately, I had to involve the developer of the program and also my IT friend Jeff Roberts, if he's listening. So thank you very much for that. But he's been a lifesaver with regard to my server configuration and everything like that. But I enjoy that type of stuff. So I don't know. I just kind of consider it my hobby, and so people that look at me as like a workaholic, I just this is what I like to do. So that's my defense to that, I would say.
And that is definitely a defense mechanism, because I think if we had a little bit more time to go deeper, I might be able to pull some things out of you. But we'll save that for another show. How about that?
Well, we got about a minute left to wrap up. Allie, tell us a little bit more about the services you offer and how people can get in touch with you.
Well, just like you said earlier, I help people master their profitability, their productivity, and their purpose. And I do this in a variety of ways, from increasing sales, organizing, streamlining operations, helping them hire and train better employees. But at the end of the day, my clients achieve scalable, profitable businesses that also allow them to have the lifestyles that they want, so that they can have, a better life and a balanced life. So.
And where can we learn more about you? Website, phone numbers, contact information, social media, all that stuff?
So hit me up. I'm Allie Ann, ALIANN on Facebook, or Allie Ann Co. on Facebook, or my website, www.aliann.com, which is allieann.com, or LinkedIn, Allison Walter, ALISON, Walter. Just hit me up. Tell me how you guys like the show today, and definitely keep in touch, because things are going to be grand for 2015.
And I love your website. I was looking at that last night. You got to say it, you got to say it phonetically, or else you'd say like alien.com. Yeah, use your name, Allie Ann. I'm looking at it at alien.com. So if you're just talking in quick conversation, I'm www.alien.com. People are going to look like, what in the world am I hiring here? So, Allie, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Great information and some great tips, and learn more about her at alien.com. Marilyn, thank you very much for being in studio today with me as well.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure.
And if you're just tuning in and catching the last part of the show, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. And again, you'll find me here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. Also, hit me up on all the social networking sites, Facebook.com/That Business Show, and over at Twitter on the handle Jamie_Meloni. Hope everybody has a great President's Day, and I'll see you all back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.